Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey friend, it's me, Lunden Souza, online lifestyle transformation coach. I help people all over the world just like you who know they are meant for more, get their mind right and their body tight, and go from crazy busy to crazy happy. And hey, if it's our first time meeting, welcome. So happy to have you. And if you've been with us for a while, it's so great that you're here too. I'm really excited to share this episode of the Self-Love and Sweat podcast with you. Hey, I want to tell you quickly about 2 ways that you can get connected beyond the podcast to up-level your health, your life, your fitness, reach your goals, but also support the podcast as well. So the first option is our Self-Love and Sweat monthly members-only meetup. We meet up on the last Saturday of the month on Zoom for 90 minutes to cover some important topics, to answer your questions, and then to also do a workout together. It's a great way to have that support, have that accountability, get supercharged, and get reminded that there are other people all over the world on this journey of self-love and sweat, and you don't have to do it alone. You can join your first month for only $1 using code SELFLOVE1 at checkout, and then it's $27 a month after that. So you go to lifelikeLondon.com/monthly, use the code SELFLOVE1 at checkout to try us out, test it out for only $1 for your first month, and then you can be on board to listen to the podcast, join up on the meetups, and just really feel like you're connected and thriving on this journey to reach your goals. The second option is our Strong at Home for Women 8-week dumbbell-only workout plan. We have women all over the world getting stronger from the inside out right at home, right? So we're ready to take action to get stronger despite the circumstances of the world. And we know that we're not about to do that alone. So embark on this 8-week journey with us. You can go to lifelikeLondon.com/strong at home. You can pick up your 8-week plan. And the exciting thing is that every 8 weeks, we open it up, myself and my co-coach, for VIP all access coaching with us. So not only do you get the plan, but you get Zoom fireside chats with us. You get an exclusive way to chat with us anytime so you can ask your questions, share your progress. And we're always continuing to stay connected and motivate and inspire each other on our journey to get stronger, no matter what that means for us. So if you know that you're meant for more, you're ready to get stronger from the inside out, and you're just like, yes, I need a plan and some structure, something to tell me what to do. I know I'm ready, but I need that coaching. I can't do it alone. We are here for you. You can go to lifelikeLondon.com/strong at home, pick up the plan, figure out when our next VIP all access registration is opening so you can get that support and guidance. And the third thing, I said there was two, but the third thing is you can do both. You can join us for those monthly meetups. You can be there for the 8-week program. You know, this coaching and this support is here for you. We want to get you real results that last so you never have to start over again. And so you guys are awesome. Enjoy this episode. Get connected. Self-love and sweat, friends. Hey everyone, welcome back to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Today I want to share a very, very powerful principle with you. One that I really believe is the PowerPoint, the power punch of positivity and living a positive life, because people automatically think just because you live a positive life, or when people think of living a positive life, it's like complete, rainbows and butterflies and every thought is positive and fantastic and blissful. And some moments are more like that than others. And as you commit to that perspective and that lifestyle, you'll have more of that. But I really believe that what we're going to talk about today is huge. It happens or has the potential, the opportunity to happen like thousands of times a day. And this is really where the work is, where the commitment lies when it comes to a positive lifestyle. And I posted about this on Instagram the other day, and it's been something that I've been talking about with my clients, but then also with my coaches as myself. I'm a student as well. And so this is something I wanted to talk with you guys about, because this is something you can truly have fun with. I often say I can kind of annoy myself with this. It's like me coaching myself, right? It's like that reverse role there. And it's so important. What we're going to talk about today is so important. Take notes in your phone, on a piece of paper. Really tune into this, because you're going to have a lot of aha moments. I tried to think of a lot of different scenarios and different ways that this might show up in your life. And I have a lot of examples of how this shows up in my life. And together, this is something we can commit to doing together forever. And that is the reframe. That is reframing. That is changing your words, your thoughts, surrounding a particular topic or a situation. And that really is your superpower, right? Your perspective, the way that you see something, what meaning you bring out of it. That is so, so, so powerful and so important. And so the way that this came about was actually like over a really funny, but insanely important and valuable reframe in my life. So raise your hand if you're like me and you just get or this is a narrative for you, right? We get so annoyed when you wake up in the middle of the night when your sleep is interrupted. Like, even if you have to go pee in the middle of the night, that's annoying. If you can't fall asleep, oh my gosh, you're looking at your phone, looking at the clock, calculating exactly how many, minutes and hours of sleep you're going to get. And it's just so frustrating when you can't fall asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night, or maybe you wake up early. Like maybe you're consistently just like waking up way before your alarm and struggling to go back to sleep. So it's like you're waking up super duper early. So for me, I was noticing that that's what was happening to me. I was feeling like my days were really full. So I was going to bed earlier. And then I would wake up like, I don't know, at 3:00 in the morning, and it would be for like 20 or 30 minutes that I'd kind of be tossing and turning. And, because I know the power of my thoughts and, bringing my stress levels down and just everything in general, the work that I do, I know it doesn't mean I always implement it, or it always takes me, sometimes it takes me a while to implement it there. But I was thinking, okay,
what's happening. Like I'm waking up, consistently at this time. Maybe something to think about at another time, but not when I'm trying to get back to sleep, right? I'm not trying to analyze it in the moment. So I just started saying like, I'm so thankful for this opportunity to wake up in the middle of the night and feel how comfortable my bed is. And would roll around and like move my feet around and feel like the colder parts of the sheets and like flip my pillow over and get the colder part of the pillow. And something about that reframe was so soothing. It makes me like turn, or makes the corners of my mouth turn. Like I get a little smile when I do that. Like literally, what better thing could you ask for that works for you than a reframe that's like gratitude and makes you smile as you're trying to kind of go back into sleep, right? Default mode for me would be like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get my 8 hours. If I wake up now, then I'm going to be so super tired for that meeting later on at 4 or 5 o'clock, like totally just projecting all these things, when in reality, what would be most beneficial is getting myself in a relaxed state and getting myself back to sleep, right? And it's not always easy. And I don't always do that super quickly. And I found myself just getting super frustrated and annoyed as to why I was waking up at that time. And so instead, I just changed it. And I was sharing that with my coach, and he was like, dang, we were kind of laughing at it, but he was like, that's a really powerful reframe. Like that really works for you. And that's something that's like really effective, because a lot of people struggle with sleep and different things like that. And if, default mode or working towards that default mode of like gratitude and just having a place to sleep and being thankful for the comfort of that. And for me, it was kind of like, oh, this is my moment to get woken up and be reminded like, hey, you have a little, a really comfortable bed and a little gratitude to do. And I was really able to reframe that there. But that's really like the nitty gritty, I feel like, of what that means to live a positive lifestyle. It's being committed to the continuous reframe, continuously coming into contact with these thoughts, with these thought patterns, these things that are trickling into, spiraling out of control or spiraling into arenas that we don't want to be in, right? Is continuing to examine them. And so that's why I say sometimes I annoy myself, because it's like, I really do this work and I really want to show up full out and I really want to serve with excellence. And I have coaches, but I also like to coach myself. Or there's certain things where it's just like, you check yourself here. And these reframes are big key areas where I check myself. The other one is when my alarm didn't go off or I slept through it, leaving less time for my workout. This is one as well. For some reason or another, I was like having a snooze issue, or a couple times I just didn't plug in my phone. So my phone just, died in the middle of the night, or it wasn't plugged into the wall and I plugged in the cable, and I would like wake up late and just like, whatever. But in the end, or I would wake up late and then, cut out probably like 40 minutes of my hour workout. And then sometimes I just wouldn't work out, or I would just be frustrated or annoyed or just start to feel scattered. And those moments are few and far between, but I had some moments where that was happening. And I was just like, you know what? Like, relax. Maybe your body needed that extra 30 minutes of sleep. Be thankful that you woke up. I don't really sleep in that much, but be thankful that you woke up, still with enough time to make it to your first meeting and to do the things that you needed to do. Like, maybe you only had 30 minutes, but at least you had 30 minutes, Lunden, because sometimes, I like to have longer times for myself in the morning, and 30 minutes sometimes just feels really short for me, but very thankful for those 30 minutes, right? And I just think that kind of switching that and that reframe there is super important and super powerful and super relevant. Like, I think that we can all think of moments where we're like, okay, I'm going to wake up early. My alarm's going to go off, da-na-na. And then we wake up in the morning and we've slept through our alarm and we didn't make the time for the workout that we said we were going to do. And it's just like kind of that cycle over, right? So we have the power to absolutely change that. I'm not saying keep like reframe it and keep oversleeping, right? But it's like for those times where it's like, dang it, like I really freaking wanted to show up and I've been showing up and like this just like is annoying. It just like threw off my week, threw off my vibe, whatever. Well, that's your choice. If it throws off your week, throws off your vibe, throws off your whatever, right? So what I found is even in those mornings when I wake up and it's a little bit later than I wanted, even if I say like, okay, I wanted to work out for an hour, 45 minutes, or have more time to do X, Y, or Z, I'll try to do all those things. That's why I have my morning routine, my 3 M's, the movement, mindset, and me time. I'll still really really fight to get all three in, but just shorter amounts of time. So I might do like a 10-minute workout or a 15-minute workout. I might just do like a quick 5-minute meditation and, just kind of get, into my morning journal, maybe just a little bit quicker, maybe do something that's a little bit like a mindset activity or a, I like to do journal prompts, or I like to do little devotionals in my Bible app. So perhaps on those mornings, I'll choose one that's quicker, right? Something that's going to be like just a little bit to read, a little bit to journal, focus more on bullet points and things like that, right? So it's not that like everything is in complete disarray. It's just like we need to be able to have that reframe and, that support and also confidence in self to reframe and be able to say, hey, okay, if everything goes in disarray, that's my thing. How am I going to show up now? What are my, non-negotiables here for this moment? What do I need to get done? What's going to make me feel better throughout the day? And for me, it's those 3 M's, right? The movement, mindset, and me time. So even in the mornings when we feel like, oh my gosh, I overslept. I wanted to wake up. What the heck happened? I went to bed early, or I don't know, I couldn't sleep. So I overslept. Like, still have gratitude for the time that you do have, really slow down and kind of hone in on that. And that can feel chaotic and it can feel annoying, but just continue to try to show up in that way, or continue to show up in that way, and you will show up in that way. That one for me came up a lot as well, because I felt like I was waking up in the middle of the night, and then it was like, like I said, 3:30, getting back to bed like 4, wanting to wake up at 6, but instead waking up like at 6:45, and just made my mornings a little bit more scrunched than I would prefer. But instead of scrunching them up more myself with my thoughts and patterns, and it's ruining everything, right? Just trying to unscrunch a little bit, right? And when I say unscrunch, I'm kind of like lowering my shoulders down a little bit. That can be very, very, just a really good feeling to feel like, okay, I'm not going to do it perfect all the time, but this time, I'm not letting this rain on my parade. I'm choosing my perspective and choosing it to be differently. The other one, another really important reframe when it comes to positive outlook and just like overall, when it comes to positive outlook, when it comes to workload, personal life, whatever, I have this really work related, but just in general, like when it comes to getting all the things done, right? I put here, like I have to get all this stuff done, right? Or oh my gosh, like I absolutely have to do this right now, or I should do this, or I need, oh my gosh, a lot of these words we can switch to like, I get the opportunity to, I'm excited to do this, I put here, like I get the opportunity to coach and provide value for people, and I'm excited for the impact this work is going to make. And then I wrote from there, I start to think about my current clients and the potential clients whose lives could be impacted by what I might be dreading to get done, right? So there's certain things that we might be doing in life, whether it's in our business, which is what mine was about work-wise, but just in general, it's like there's certain things like admin tasks or just like tidying things up or whatever in general that might be, that would be something that you need or that you get the opportunity to get done. That might not be like direct impact to like the exact goal, right? And sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that bigger picture of that why, like I said, when I'm going through doing some admin tasks or emails or making sure that X, Y, or Z is all organized, all the podcast episodes are updated, all the links are working, all the descriptions are perfect. Like, there's a lot that goes into this whole thing, getting out in the newsletter, when there are moments of like, oh, there's a lot going on. It's really important that we reframe and say, hey, I get the opportunity to do this. I get the opportunity to serve, shine my light in this way. And even though, it might not feel like the most fun thing on the planet to go through and click on every single link that's on there to make sure it's working and, mobile, and then doing it on your phone and on the computer. But the bigger picture is, if someone goes there and clicks that, I want it to work. What if that's the episode that they go there and that's where they click? You got to get your mind in that position where it's like, hey, it's bigger than the annoyance of the task. It's just kind of like, how am I going to choose to show up to it? So that reframe there is really powerful and really important, and can really show up in a lot of the mundane, because I hear a lot of people come to me and say, I got to do all the things. I got to do all the things. And I feel like I want to do everything. And I have that all of it. But Truth of the matter is baby steps, one thing at a time. And you get the opportunity to do one thing at a time. You get the opportunity to take things in bite sizes and really master them there. So it's a really powerful reframe. And then some other common reframes that might resonate with you as well, in addition to the ones we already talked about, is like, if you want to work out in the morning, for example, let's say you want to start working out in the morning. Some reframes that might be important would be like, what do you say about people who work out first thing in the morning? Right? Do you say that that's so annoying and how could you do that? And reframe that real quick, or else those mornings you're trying to get up to work out are not going to be pleasant. They're not going to be fun. They're not going to be enjoyable. And you probably won't be consistent, especially with that mindset like that. Also, what do you say to yourself when your alarm goes off in the morning and you wake up in the morning? Is it like, oh my gosh, another day? Bleh. Or is it like, hey, I am thankful to be alive. I am ready to serve. My feet are on the ground. Like that is something to be grateful for, open my eyes. I often, even before I open my eyes, like if I, you kind of catch yourself in that awareness when you're waking up, I just start repeating, thank you. 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 Because I feel like no matter what the situation might be, gratitude always wins. And I feel like starting my day with gratitude for life is just the way that I want to do it and how I choose to show up. So in those mornings when I can kind of catch myself right when I wake up, but before I open my eyes, or maybe things start to flutter a little bit with my eyelashes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because then it's like, if it's super early, and you've been saying thank you for a little while, it's much easier to get those tootsies out of bed. Am I right? Some other examples of what might resonate with you there too. Like, what do you say or think about Mondays? That's a big one too. Like, that's a really great place to start. Maybe you guys have read the book, The Secret, and I don't want to get too much into it, but one of the main things that they talk about kind of like in the beginning as bite-sized ways to just like bring this principle into everyday life is with a parking spot. So as you're driving around, imagine a parking spot opening, and then you might be in this crowded parking spot. Everyone's trying to look for a spot, but one is going to open up for you, right? I think that this is a good one about reframes. Like, what do you think or say about Mondays? I think that like, for some reason, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's the Mondays. I got a case of the Mondays. Like, there's so much going on that I just feel like any day could be a day that could be, awesome, including Mondays. And any day could be a day where you choose to, like, I don't know, sleep in or take a little bit more of a break. And I know that we all don't have schedules that always allow us to do certain things. Maybe Monday through Friday is like very, set up and structured for us. I totally get that. But what I mean is like, wake up on Monday and crush it, right? If you wake up on the wrong side on a bed on a Tuesday or whatever, okay, cool. But I think that when we can really use kind of that Monday as that, like I said, that parking spot experience of saying like, hey, I'm going to start with just choosing not to start my day with, oh, it's Monday and I have to work out and here we go again and all the things, you can really choose to reframe that one, because I think we all have a stigma around that, or maybe some sort of feeling comes up when we think about the Mondays, or maybe even just mornings in general, like I said before on that first one. And then also, how do you feel about eating healthy and cooking at home? That's a big one as well, because, when we're trying to change our eating habits and reframe some of that stuff, it's like, if you say that like eating healthy is gross and boring and the recipes don't taste like anything and you're never satisfied and it's just too much to meal prep and it's so difficult and healthy groceries are so expensive and I don't have time to meal prep. And if I do it, like, there's so many narratives and stories and excuses and all the things that can weave into, our mindsets and just kind of our lives when it comes to nutrition and healthy eating and things like that. And I think it's really important to reframe that if that's something that you want to show up to do. Now, that doesn't mean you have to come in and be like this connoisseur chef. And maybe that starts out to be a balance of like takeout and, healthier options at restaurants, including meal prep, right? You can start to integrate what that would look like. You don't have to go 0 to 60. But what I mean is like, and you got to enjoy that process, right? If you go into the grocery store rush and you're meal prepping your food rush and just everything is like all over the place, then you're not going to have a good experience with that. And that's not going to really work for you. So reframe that and say, hey, I get to go to the grocery store and pick out my food. I'm thankful for the fact that I know what's in my food. I'm thankful for the fact that I have the means to go to the grocery store and get the things that I need, get the foods that I need. Even if it's, minimal ingredients, budget foods. I'm a big fan of doing things in bulk and prepping things and having healthy items and options ready to go. And just knowing like, hey, food is fuel. It's been really cool because over this last week, I feel like a lot of my clients and people around me have just made really big leaps and bounds when it comes to their nutrition and finding what works for them. And at one point I was talking with a really close friend of mine and she would like put her arms up in the air, like with fists. And she's like, yes, I just feel so good. Like I feel so good at my desk. I feel so clear. Like I'm rocking it. I'm crushing it. And she'd been making some really awesome, impactful changes in her diet, limiting sugar, limiting processed foods. And just, it's really been making a giant impact for her. Right. And so for her, that reframe is like, it's not complicated to eat healthy. It's not hard to choose more plant-based options, which is what she's doing. It's not hard to, stay away from the sugar and the cookies and the sweets. And she doesn't have to do that all the time, but like most of the time, right? So that reframe is major. And then those feelings surrounding that is so, so powerful and so awesome to be able to say like, oh my gosh, like I was able to reframe my thoughts to position myself in a place where I like could crush out, finding what works for me nutrition wise. And then I eat those foods and I'm feeling great and I'm at my desk and I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels good. I feel alive. I feel focused. I feel vibrant. Like that's what eating healthy is all about, friends. Like that's what eating healthy is all about. Like, you can bring your Tupperwares and they can be all organized and color coordinated, right? Or you can make things in bulk and pull it out as you need it. You could eat out a lot and just make healthy options and healthy choices and choose to eat at places where you know what's going on behind the counter and all that and still feel really freaking good. But I want you guys to really, really feel good when it comes to your nutrition. So I feel like that reframe is going to be really major. If you come into the kitchen meal prepping and you're just like, focus on the food that you're cooking, focus on the meal that you're preparing. Think about the week. Hey, when do I need that fuel most readily available for me? Because if you're like, for my schedule, for example, sometimes I'm at home and I have the option to take some time to prepare things. But sometimes you look at your schedule and you're like, oh no, I'm going to be here, there. Like, let me prep a smoothie. Let me make sure I have some things like ready to go, some snacks I can take with me, and really be mindful surrounding that. And that will go a long, long, long way. So for everybody, it will be different. For everybody, that will look different. And that's really the beauty of this all is that, what narratives and stories and things might be replaying around in your head that need a reframe are going to be different. But the beauty is that you can reframe it. It's always possible to reframe something. And I believe that living a positive life is really being committed to that reframe. And, it doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes it takes a while to really kind of see, okay, how can I shift this? How has this been impacting me? Sometimes we just go into autopilot of certain, things and things we say to ourselves and whatever. And it takes us a while to realize to like, hey, that's a problem. Like, I don't really like that one at all. And I want to reframe that. And I think that when you make reframing more a part of who you are, it feels cool and it feels good. Like I said, I sometimes like annoy myself or bug myself with it a little bit too. I'm like, I need to. No, Lunden, you don't need to. You get the opportunity to, right? This is not annoying. Like, you're excited about this, and coming to the table with that, knowing, there's certain emotions and certain things where like, yeah, you want to stay in them. It's important to feel that. And it might be important for you to feel that during a different phase of your day or journey or whatever. But when it comes to those everyday things, those excuses, those limiting beliefs, those little chatter things that might be holding us back there, those reframes are really important. So let me know, you guys, how you are reframing, little key points in your life. This is so important. Nobody wakes up and drinks the positivity potion and is just like clicking their heels and rocket don't stop it all day long, right? This is a commitment. And some days are easier than others. And some weeks are easier than others. And sometimes are really, really freaking hard. But you can continue to show up for that reframe and it will work. It will work. Trust me, there's moments where I'm just like, I'm going to keep repeating to myself, keep drinking water, keep getting to bed early. You'll feel good. You'll get that energy back, or just keep showing up one step after the other. And you'll really get the impact over time, right? You know me, I'm not quick fixes. I'm not a weekend, 3-day and you're done. These are really tools that will stick with you over time, that will work with you throughout the seasons, which for me is so important too. Things ebb and flow throughout the seasons and throughout different seasons of our lives. Absolutely. And I think that requires different tools through different seasons. But I think this tool of reframing is a very powerful tool throughout all seasons, a lot of situations, a lot of circumstances. And yeah. Welcome to the land of reframing, you guys. I love you so much. Let me know what you're reframing in your life. You can contact me anywhere on social media, but specifically Instagram is usually the best, at Life Like Lunden. Send me a DM. Let me know your aha moments and what you're reframing in your life so that you can show up, feeling grateful and thankful and just committed to doing your absolute best. You're the bomb. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat. This podcast is a Hit Spot Austria production.